Picture this. You're in a big meeting. The stakes are high, and you've got a game-changing idea that could save the entire project. But you're not the person with a fancy title. You watch the conversation drift in a completely wrong direction, led by the loudest person in the room, not the most logical one. And you feel that all too familiar frustration, the sense of being invisible as your chance to contribute slips away. You know you can lead the discussion, but the org structure doesn't say so. What if I told you the real power in any room has nothing to do with your job title? It's all about influence. And what if in the next few minutes, I could give you a practical three-pillar framework to subtly command that room, get your ideas heard, and actually influence the big decisions, all without anyone ever giving you the formal permission. This is your guide to proving that the real power isn't handed to you. It's earned with trust, credibility, and a bit of strategic thinking. So let's get into it. First things first, we have to completely reframe what leadership even means. For the longest time, we've been taught that leadership is a position, a box on the chart. In today's messy, collaborative world, that model is officially obsolete. Real leadership isn't about authority, it's about influence. Authority is temporary, it can be given and taken away. Influence, on the other hand, is yours. You build it, you earn it, and it stays with you no matter what your job title is. The single most important currency of influence is trust. Without it, the most brilliant idea in the world will just die on the vine. But with trust, people don't just listen, they actually want to follow your lead. This isn't about manipulating people. It's about finding common ground and steering everyone towards a shared goal. The mindset has to shift from how do I get control over people to how can I build real relationships and provide so much value that all win. This all boils down to emotional intelligence, being able to read the room, understand what drives other people, and manage your own reactions. It's the rock solid foundation that an influence is built on. It's what lets you navigate tricky meeting dynamics and build genuine connections. So stop chasing a title and start building trust. That's your real seat on the table. Okay, so how do you actually build this trust and start exerting influence? Well, I've broken it down into three pillars that you can act on. This isn't just theory, it's a game plan for your very next meeting. The first pillar, master the pre-game. Preparation as a power play. Leadership doesn't start when the meeting does. It starts long before you walk into that room. Showing up unprepared is the quickest way to kill your credibility. But mastering pre-game is way more than just glancing at the agenda 5 minutes before. First, show up as the expert. This means you need to do your homework, come armed with facts, data, and well thought out insights that back up your point of view. When you have the evidence, you're no longer just sharing an opinion, you're establishing yourself as a credible, authoritative voice that people feel they have to listen to. The goal isn't to be a know-it-all, it's to be a go-to source of valuable information. The second one, go on what I call a pre-meeting tour. Before the main event, connect with one or two key players one-on-one. This is a total power move. It allows you to understand their priorities and what they are worried about ahead of time. Ask them questions. Just listen when you walk into the meeting, already knowing the political landscape. You can frame your ideas in a way that resonate with their goals, turning potential roadblocks into your biggest supporters. And third, know your one thing. Go into every single meeting knowing the number one outcome you want to drive. Is it to get to a firm decision, to clear up major point of confusion, to get your resources for your team? Having a clear goal focuses your energy and stops you from being sucked into pointless side arguments. It makes every word you say sharp and purposeful. That brings us to the second pillar, command the room. This is the art of active facilitation. So here's a little secret. You don't need to be the designated chairperson to lead the discussion. The most influential person in the room isn't usually the one who talks the most. It's the one who improves the quality of the conversation for everybody. Your goal is to become an active facilitator. You can do this just by asking great, open ended questions. When someone throws out an idea, instead of jumping to agree or disagree, ask something like, "That's an interesting angle. How would that affect our timeline?" Or who else on the team would we need to bring in to make that work? Questions like these pull out more detail, get more people involved, and quietly guide the conversation somewhere productive. This goes hand in hand with strategic listening. Most people listen just waiting for their turn to talk. You need to listen to actually understand. When a coworker makes a good point, give them credit out loud, building on what Sarah just said about the budget. That simple move makes people feel heard and respected, which builds incredible trust. You become the person who connects ideas, not just the person pushing down your own agenda. Finally, your job is to connect the dots. In any complex discussion, ideas and data points are flying everywhere. Be the person who brings clarity, saying something as simple as, "Okay, it sounds like we are looking at two main options here. Option A is faster but riskier. Option B is safer but slower. Is this a fair summary?" This clarifies the situation and helps the group move forward together. You become the voice of progress. By the way, if you're finding these pillars useful and want more strategies like these to boost your career, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It lets me know you want more deep dive videos like this one. And it's a huge help to my channel as well. And that brings us to the third pillar, the follow through, cementing your influence. Your leadership doesn't stop when the meeting ends. The truth is, the follow up is where you can really cement your role as a leader. First, own the proactive follow up. Don't wait around for the official meeting owner to send a recap. If an email doesn't go out pretty quickly, take the lead. Draft a short, clear summary of the key discussions, open questions, and who's doing what. This shows you're committed to making progress, keeping the momentum going, and reinforces your role as someone who gets things done. Next, learn to handle pushback with grace. Look, not every idea you have is going to get you a round of applause. When you face objections, don't treat it like a personal attack. Think of it as a request for more information. Instead of getting defensive, get curious. Say, "That's a valid concern. Can you walk me through the specific challenge you're seeing?" This turns a potential fight into a problem solving session and proves you actually respect others' perspectives also. Finally, volunteer for the hard stuff. When a tough problem comes up in a meeting and nobody knows who should own it, raise your hand. Stepping up to tackle a challenge that everyone else is trying to avoid is one of the fastest ways to prove your leadership, your commitment, your value. Actions will always speak louder than words, and this kind of ownership earns a type of respect that no job title can ever give you. So, bringing it all together, I have a real world case study. Let's make this real. Imagine a product manager. She sees that the way her company gets customer feedback is slow and clunky, and it's causing delays. But she has zero formal authority over the engineering and the sales teams. Here's how she uses the three pillars. First is preparation. So she doesn't just show up and complain. She spends a week digging into the process, gathering hard data on the delays, and she maps out a new, better workflow. Then she does a pre-meeting tool, chatting with a key engineer and a senior salesperson to hear their frustrations with the existing system. Second is facilitation. In the big project meeting, she doesn't just stand up and announce her brilliant new plan. She starts by saying, I think we have all felt the pain of how long it takes to get customer feedback to the dev team. And Rakesh here, I know your team sometimes waits weeks for an answer. She starts with a shared problem, and suddenly everyone is nodding along. She guides a discussion about the pain points before presenting her data backed idea as a solution for everyone. She asks questions and adjusts the plan right there in the room based on their feedback. Third, follow through. After the meeting, she sends a summary and outlines the small first step they all agreed to try. When a few people are hesitant, she calmly addresses their concerns and offers to personally run a small pilot of new process with just one sales rep and one engineer. By volunteering for that tough first step, she takes on the risk and shows that she's all in. A month later, the pilot is a huge success. The whole team happily adopts her process. She didn't need a new title. She led with preparation, facilitation, and ownership. Now, as you can see, leading without authority isn't some kind of magic trick. It's a skill, it's a strategic process built on these three core pillars: mastering the pre-game, commanding the room through facilitation, and cementing your influence with follow-through. The leaders who make the biggest impact aren't defined by where they sit on the org chart. They're defined by the credibility they build and the value they bring. They are the problem solvers, the collaborators, the people who connect the dots. They don't have to demand respect, they earn it. This is episode 5, Leadership Without Authority, of the Executive Presence Mastery series. The next one is the story that will change everything. Episode 6 is the art of influential storytelling. Until next time, keep leading, keep growing, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content on leadership and professional growth. See you in the next one.